I got three of my favorite guests. I'm excited about this one. We've never had three people on at one time, so we're going to see how this goes with these three hooligans. I shouldn't say hooligans.
It's okay. It's true, though.
It is a little true.
Accurate.
Some accuracy. So I got Kay, Leah, and Danielle. And the reason these three are on together is they've become their own little group. And they've went through our group transformation program. I guess that was how long ago?
April, May?
April, May. And they're still rocking together. And it's been a really unique experience for me. Hopefully for them too. They'll tell the truth today, hopefully. So maybe it wasn't unique for them. I don't know. But it's been really awesome to work with them and see the changes that they've made. And they all three have a totally different journey. You know, they're all in this for their own personal reasons, which can kind of overlap, but also not. You know, three very different things going on, things they're working on, things that used to scare them, don't scare them anymore, things that used to bother them, maybe don't bother them anymore. I hope not, or we've at least overcome a lot of things. So I'm excited to talk to you guys and get your feedback. I've asked you guys all individually a little bit, but never really, we haven't had a full discussion about what the whole experience has been like. So that's what I want to do today, is just get a full live feedback experience. And boy, am I hoping it's good. So, first I want to ask, like, the first question is, when you guys, you know, when I initially brought up the group transformation program, you guys obviously said you were interested in it. Did it turn out to be what you thought it was going to be?
And more. Like it was.
Or like, what was your expectation going into it? Or like, Danielle, what was your expectation going into it?
My expectation was to really focus on like the nutrition piece of it and, you know, what I was eating and what I could do better. What I wasn't expecting was all of the mindset piece of it that was going to come into play, which is great because that ended up being what I actually needed.
Yeah, nutrition was probably really way down the line.
Yeah.
As far as what you were.
Very early on, I realized, I'm going to get something out of this that I wasn't expecting.
Okay. Leah, how about you?
Exactly the same. I really thought I was going to come in and be like, I'm going to hardcore, we're going to diet, we're going to figure this out. And I'm like, that is not at all what actually ended up happening.
Okay. What were your thoughts going into it?
I thought it would just be more about just me. Even though I was in a group, I thought that I didn't know I would get so much from other people.
Yeah.
Like so much takeaway from listening to their stories and them being vulnerable. So I eventually started to do the same thing, and it paid off. Yeah.
Here they are. Three best friends anybody could have.
And I didn't know it before this. So.
Right.
And it's neat that can happen because we're all in very different phases of our life. For sure.
Right? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And doing three completely different things.
Yeah. We got grandparent and mom and business owner. So three totally different aspects of life. And like you guys said, you guys were all thinking, and I think a lot of people have the same concept as like, oh, this is just going to be a hardcore nutrition thing. I'm just going to learn a bunch of habits about nutrition. And it's, I mean, there's some nutrition to it.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely a phase of it, but it's definitely far from what it actually is.
Well, and I think too, you know, when I first started, like, oh, this is going to be easy. It's going to be such an easy thing. You know, I'm joining this program and I got this. And then like 2 weeks in, you're like, this is not easy.
Until you have to do your first reading assignment. And then it's like, oh, this is not easy.
Yeah, it's not
You
easy.
have to write stuff down.
But you have to put in the work with the whole program. You have to put in the work.
So. Yeah, there's definitely a required amount of work that you have to put in. But the tasks that you had to do, would you say were hard?
As far as,
you know, like the steps that we built along the way as the process went, would you say those individual things were challenging?
They were uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. I'd say physically, no. Mentally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't, take each week to add one thing and then the next week add another thing and get good at that. And then, layer things on. I think if you didn't do it with that approach, it would be very difficult. You can't go from 0 to 100, right? In changing your habits.
Yeah. So like, I guess, what I'm going to do is just kind of give a quick overview of, what we try to accomplish with the, the group, approach. And with any of our transformation, whether it's individual or group, the group is right for the certain amount of people, and individual is the right choice for certain people. For you three, I think the group was perfect. I think you guys have benefited a lot more because it was a group than you would have if you did it individually. But what we're trying to do is help people understand how to take this overwhelming list of things that we want to change and learn how to change them and phase them into our life one step at a time. And it's a lot more than just, a lot of people, if they've read Atomic Habits, which is part of it, it's similar to Atomic Habits, but it's also got another layer of diving into why we don't do things in our lives and how much that controls our decision making. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And when we can start to figure out why I do something or why I react a certain way, why I don't react a certain way, our decision making can become a lot more clear. Is that true for you guys? Like, is that what you felt happened for you?
For sure.
So that's kind of how else would you guys describe, because that's kind of one of the problems I have with this whole program is how do I describe this? Or if somebody asks you what this was like, what would you say to them?
I would say it's a whole life.
It's a building block.
Right.
Like I feel like I was given tools that I didn't know I needed, but I did, and it pulled out things inside that I was able to address or, look into deeper and, this is something that I need or want that I probably didn't even necessarily know to begin with.
I think mine was like the voices in our head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And having to name that voice.
Yeah.
I used it on the way here today. I mean, I'm always telling Marge to get out.
Shut up, bitch.
You're not welcome.
Exactly.
I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yeah, it's like, it's something so simple, but I use it all the time. Like, I wish I would have had those tools a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, identifying that voice so that way it's not yours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It makes it like these crazy thoughts that we sometimes have. I'll use crazy. I have them too, but when I can identify that, okay, that's not me, that's somebody else, and they can shut up, well, it makes it a lot easier to make a decision, make the decision I wanted to make versus getting conned into a decision that I didn't want or, somewhere to go. For me, it was about being shy at networking events. Mind sharing what yours was, Kay? What's Marge's biggest thing?
Just, I'm an anxious person, so just a lot of anxiety, like, you can't do this. Now my biggest thing was when I flew that 8-passenger airplane in New Zealand. And I'm in the back seat and about ready to throw up because I was so nervous. And there's just telling Marge just to get away. This is beautiful. You just stop worrying. But that's my biggest thing. It helped me realize that, again, everything is temporary. And I'm glad that I know Marge a little bit better now because I don't mind telling her to get the heck out of here. So, yeah.
Good.
Did I answer that?
Yeah, I think so. Another big one that the bigger one that I think I remember you overcoming is just you're an entertainer of your family.
Oh, for sure.
And the amount of stress you would put yourself under to just host family over.
Yes, because everything had to be perfect. And now it's easy because I just realized it's temporary. They're going to leave and the house is going to be the same. You're going to get it back in order. You're going to get your sleep again. You're going to, all those things that when you have guests over, that would overwhelm me, that they just don't anymore.
Yeah, so. And Kay loves her family, by the way.
I love when you guys come.
Leah, how about you?
Mine was just confidence, knowing, Karen, knowing, that she can't tell me things that I know better than.
So where has your confidence grown the most?
I would say in my business for sure, absolutely, in everything I do at my work, but And then it kind of carries over outside of that as well. I feel like in general, just walking down the street, head held high, it's become, I feel like since I know what my internal negative thoughts are, and I know that I can shush those, it just gives me a better feeling of who I am in general.
So would you say before we started, how many people on Facebook knew what you did?
Oh gosh, yeah. I would say 75% of my friends on Facebook did not know I owned my own business, let alone was a florist.
Did you ever make a Facebook post?
Actually, I would get like my cousin's wife to make them for me and post. I gave her access because I was afraid to do it. I'd be afraid I'd do it wrong, or you wouldn't, I was like, oh, no one's going to look at this, or people are going to, judge what I do.
Has that changed?
Oh, absolutely. Now I make my own.
Leah owns Trenton Floral Designs.
Trenton. I make pretty arrangements.
They are pretty.
How about you, Danielle?
For me, it was finally realizing that this idea of perfection doesn't exist. And that needed to go away in my head. Stop trying to strive for it. Mom life is stressful enough. You don't have to make it perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And has it changed?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it creeps in, but I still have to take care of myself. I also still have to take care of my family. But if it's not perfect for 1 week, it's not a reason to derail everything. You just get right back on track.
Absolutely.
How about your ability to respond to stress?
It's a lot better. I'm a lot calmer. I mean,
we had a moment where we about went off.
Right.
You were ready to quit the gym.
The transformation the program happened exactly what I needed. There was something in my life, and I remember just like texting you, and you're like, you're either going to let this break you or you're not. Like, the decision is yours. Like, here's your kick in the pants.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed.
And thankfully you took the kick in the pants the right way. And you're still here because you, like I said, the message was, I need to quit.
Right.
Something happened. I can't do this. I got to eject, and I'm out of here. And thankfully we had a little emergency conversation, talked her off the ledge, and things have been really great since then. So now another question. So like, this is what I love about groups, and is the fact, like you said, Kay, that you're able to learn so much from somebody else. Like, half of this is taking in somebody else's story and seeing it, and seeing somebody be vulnerable to their story, like how much we can learn from that. It's like every good story, like every book that you ever read or movie that's out there, what makes it exciting and intriguing is the story that came with it. Like somebody else's personal journey, it captivates you, draws you in. So to me, it's kind of like I get to sit through, 3 totally different journeys, but then I pick up things for myself along the way. Like, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. So is there anything in particular that you would say that you took from either of these two?
I mean, I remember their stories.
And you don't have to go into like specific details.
I won't. But just the fact that to know that you were not the only ones out there struggling. Like, everybody has their battle, that I'm not the only one that is dealing with something, that everybody's dealing with something. And that just made me feel better, and it made me be able to open up to you guys then when you guys were able to share that. And I just think the whole thing was very special to me. And I still think of your stories, and I don't know, just makes me want to be a better person, like to understand other people that they might be going through something. Like I said, we all have our struggles and our demons. So, and
it bonded us.
Yes.
And
yes.
We didn't know each other
absolutely
before, but a month in, Danielle's like, well, why don't you come to my workout class? And I was like, yeah, I can come
join us.
Why don't I come to your workout class? It's like, it's funny because without knowing anyone, or either one of them, all of a sudden then we're put into these situations, and we found common ground with completely different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Danielle, anything from you? Did you learn anything from these two?
Watching Leah change and be so confident with her business, was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's gone and visit her at her business, like she's so proud of it. And to me, I didn't realize she struggled with that confidence. So it's been really cool to see that change.
Yeah, no, seeing the whole journey from start to finish is a really cool experience. And well, I mean, you guys aren't even done. I mean, we're still working together on a monthly basis now, getting together and still putting in
need
work.
our therapy sessions.
We do.
And again, it's never ending, but hopefully you guys are, really developing tools that are helping you every day and just making decision making seem a whole lot easier and knowing why you're making the decisions you're wanting to make. So if somebody were to ask you, like, what was somebody who's on the fence about doing, because I'm going to start another group in the next month or two, what would you say to somebody that was kind of on the fence about giving this a shot?
You never know until you try.
Yeah, and that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be probably extremely hard when you start, but you have to put in the work. And if you want to see results in any area of your life, you have to put in the work. So don't be afraid to do it.
And it goes beyond what you're thinking.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're going to think about your thinking.
You are. That's
well, and you really, because I struggled in the first couple of weeks or whatever. You have to find your why, and
yes,
you got to keep that in the back of your mind all the time. This is why I'm doing it. Otherwise, it's easy to quit. It's very easy, but
that why didn't hit me until literally 2 weeks ago when we're just doing the monthly checkpoints,
yes.
right? That didn't come during the 12-week transformation. It came afterwards when it finally was like, here it is. And it all clicked like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. And, everybody's moment of clarity comes at different points. And it's really, really cool when it happens. Like, Danielle, you text me off the side, like, tell me I'm not the only one that has these moments where it's like, holy shit, it finally just hit me like everything now has a purpose and is so clear. And now decision making will become so easy to show up in every fashion of life that you want to show up in.
Yeah, it has to be more than just, I want to lose weight or whatever
you guys know I'm never going to settle for that answer.
But it has to be bigger than that.
Bigger,
the why has to be bigger, or else
more
you're
than
just not going to commit to it. And once
And
I finally navigated that, it was like, oh shit, let's do this now.
And it can come more than once.
You can it's evolving.
Yeah, you can start doing one thing and then you're like, oh wait, this is my why. This is why I'm doing it. And you're like, start going down a different avenue and like, nope, there's another why.
And so just so, everybody does know, like when we talk about the transformation program, it's nothing about the physical side of being in the gym. Like when Kay says it's hard, you're not talking about the workout.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's hard to, to look inward. Some people would probably pay not to do what you guys did and answer some of the questions that you answered, but you definitely came out on the other side. And I think you're all proud of the answers that you wrote, that you went through reading your answers, which have you guys ever done that before we did this?
No, never. Definitely not.
Had you guys ever journaled before?
No.
A little bit.
Oh, never even journaled before?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, so you can't even compare the difference between, because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I journal, and that's the same thing.
No,
And
definitely not.
there is a huge difference between journaling and then reading it out loud
10 times
to yourself, and then it's a whole nother level to read it to somebody else,
and do it slower.
And then read it a little slower, take a deep breath,
Change some words.
change a few words, and all of a sudden everything has changed from the first time you wrote it to the fourth time that you've read it. The meaning behind it has become significantly different. And I think you all got to experience that at least one time,
Yes.
Yep.
maybe several times.
Yeah.
Every time.
At one point or another, we have all cried together.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, I do keep a box of tissues very handy.
Right.
They asked if they were going to cry today. And we're not going to put them on. We're not going to do any exercises today. We're not doing any of those, but just, really wanting to get feedback from you guys on just your whole experience and what you thought of the whole thing.
Well, we did. And are you going to dive into like the nutrition part of it or anything? Because that was another huge thing that I got out of it. Honestly, I didn't eat breakfast before I started doing this, and that was always Jeff's thing with me. You're not eating enough. I'm like, yes, I am. No, I was not. I was not eating enough, and I wasn't fueling my body. So
I guess the biggest thing I would ask as far as when we talk about the nutrition side of things is, did I make it more simple? Was I able to simplify nutrition?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
And, because when it comes to nutrition, nutrition is so broad. Like, I mean, we could talk about areas of nutrition for days and not cover it all because of everything that's on the internet, access people have to everything. And, that's, my biggest goal is how can I simplify this for people to make this very user friendly? And I hope that I have in the simple fact, are you eating fruits, vegetables, protein, eat at home, and drink water?
Exactly.
And I think the way Josh presents it in, the touch points that he has with us, it's very simplified. Like just the idea of breakfast, shoot for 300 calories, lunch 400, dinner 500. It's simple, it's easy, right? I can follow that in my brain. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah, and Josh does a great job of that, and he's getting ready to do a 6-week online course too. So
I'm signed up.
That starts on March 3rd. So if anybody's interested in getting to see, he's going to pretty much take you through exactly what he's taken you guys through. Actually, it's going to be better because he's refined it and added more detail to it, and he's had more practice with it. So our nutrition side of things has been evolving, and I'm excited to see it myself. So any last thoughts on, was this less painful than you guys thought?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all.
Okay. Anybody sweating?
I am. Yes, I am.
Well, like I said, you didn't wear gray. You took my advice. Don't wear a gray shirt. Any last thoughts or,
No, I want to thank you for what you're doing because I think it's life-changing for people. So
we learned a lot about you through the process too.
Yeah, we did.
Cool. There's a good question. What did you learn about me?
I would have guessed you had, the issues of being in large crowds or talking to people. I mean, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, well, oh shit, he struggles with stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their own.
Yeah.
Everybody has a voice in their head telling them some bullshit stories. And I like to share, I use my personal example along the way. Pretty open book as far as that goes. Anybody else learn anything about me?
Well, I'm proud of you.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it's, it goes, and I mean, we're related. And so it's been a different.
Hey, don't tell people that. They're going to just think you're saying good shit because you're family.
Yeah. But it's a whole different side of you that I have got to see as well, Yes. So it's, it's fun to be on this side and be like, well, Jeff's my cousin. So I'm so proud of him.
I appreciate it.
I just think you're on this journey with us. So, and you treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter who they are. You're very fair. And
that's right. Fair is not always equal. It's my favorite line.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like he's so fair in
What?
gym class.
That is, use it in different context.
Yeah. So fair isn't always equal.
That's true.
So I am fair.
That's very
true.
true.
Thanks, Kay.
You are. You're welcome, Jeff.
Got that on video. So anytime somebody tries to deny this, I have proof to it all, which I'm excited about.
No.
So, well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. I know you were all a little nervous. Now you're ready to be perfect.
Everything's temporary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can do anything for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
You guys will be back.
Yeah. Interview us in another
Regular guest. No.
You're just gonna be regular guests. We'll just start recording
That's our opinion.
Maybe we should just start doing Facebook Live on our monthly call.
Oh no. Oh nope.
No. Give everybody the real
Again,
experience.
the world is not ready for that.
The full experience.
You'll just listen to us giggle the whole time.
Right, the entire time.
Until we're not.
Until we're not. Until we're crying.
Well, thanks again. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.